Hi guys, how you doing? Des Emma here. Guys, this is a very quick training on how to secure your profits, how we can secure the bag. So guys, I'm gonna go straight into this, okay? So just having a look at the outline for this training, we're gonna look at how to ride the trade risk-free, okay? Riding the trade risk-free from your mobile and a computer, how to lock in profits, understanding pips, and closing with partial profits. And then we're going to finish off with how long after a trade has been called can I enter. So guys, riding a trade risk-free, you've probably heard this phrase a lot, especially in the signals group. Okay, and what we tend to do is if you are 20 pips in profit, then you can ride the trade risk-free. And that means that if for any reason the trade starts to reverse or starts to go against us, then we won't be in a loss. Okay, we will break even. So have a look at this. Okay, this is probably what your trades look like on the trade screen. So when you go into your MetaTrader 4 app and then you click on trade at the bottom, okay, you'll see something very similar to this. So these are all of your active trades will be shown on this screen. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So I'm concerned with the bottom one, which is XAU USD, better known as gold. Okay, gold against the dollar. So when you tap it, when you tap that trade, if you tap the screen, okay, remember this is on a mobile. If you tap the screen, then you will see more information. Okay, you can see where my stop loss, where it says SL, that's my stop loss, TP is my take profit. So to ride a trade risk-free, I need to look where my cursor is. Okay, this, where my cursor is, where I'm circling, this is my entry. So when I entered the trade, I entered at 1283.75. Okay, that's where I entered. So if I change my stop loss, have a look at my stop loss where my cursor is. If I change this figure to match my entry, I am now riding this trade risk-free because I'm bringing my stop loss all the way to my entry. And I can only do this because I've moved up 20 pips. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so if you click on it again, if you touch that area again on your phone, you get the option to modify that trade, modify the trade. And now you get this screen. So now I can I can change my stop loss to my entry. So going back, okay, I can see that my entry was 1283.75. So I'm going to change this figure here where my cursor is to 1283.75. Okay, and as soon as I do that, okay, I can then click on modify and I'm riding this trade risk-free. So have a look at this in big. Okay, you can see here stop loss. Okay, I'll change this figure to my entry price and I'm riding the trade risk-free. It feels good when you're riding it risk-free because it means you cannot lose now. And whenever you see that update in the group, guys, we're up 20 pips, secure your profits. That is what you are doing. So what does this look like on a PC? So on a computer, it looks slightly different. So have a look at this. This is the same, this is the trade, this is active. This is live at the moment, okay? This is live. So at the bottom here, you can see the gold trade. Now, I can just drag this trade and then look what happens. Okay, this trade now is, I've got all my lines. So at the bottom, I've got my stop loss. Because it's a buy, my stop loss is underneath my entry point. My entry is here in green and my take profit is here in red. So when you trade on a computer, there's a lot more things that you can do, but that's absolutely fine. You can still trade on a phone, okay? So now I've got my stop loss, I've got my entry, and I've got my take profit because it's a buy. If it was a sell, it'd be the other way around. So if I want to secure, if I want to ride this risk-free, I would grab my stop. I'm just literally grabbing this line and dragging it to my entry price. Now, the first time you do this, it will ask you to confirm that you're happy with this type of trade because it's called one click. Okay, it's called one click. So you have to agree. So the first time you do it, there'll be a warning message. Just click on the accept and press OK, and that's the last time you have to do that. Okay, and then you can easily just ride. So it's a lot easier on a PC. So all you have to do is literally grab this line, my stop loss, and drag it to entry. See, I like to do it just above entry so that I can, you know, I'm assured that it's all good and it's covering my spread and so forth. So that's it. Look how easy that was. I'm now riding this risk-free. Okay, if the current market price is here, and if it reverses, it will just tap me out. Okay, I'm going to put this back because it's not quite 20 pips. Okay, it's not quite 20 pips. If I grab this crosshair and measure from when I entered to where it is now, it's roughly about 15 pips. So when it's about 20 pips, I'm going to grab this line and I'm going to do what I just did. Okay, fantastic. Let's carry on. Okay, so now we can go into how do we lock in profits? How do we lock in profits? Now to lock in profits on your mobile, okay, have a look. So now, as you can see for this trade, okay, let's have a look at this one. NZ, the New Zealand dollar against the United States dollar, okay, is currently, you know, 0.6676. Now, let's just assume that I want to lock in some profits. On a mobile, you would have to calculate how many pips you want to lock in. So if I want to lock in, you know, 20 pips, that will now be 6696. So I would change my stop loss to 6696. So you have to work it out. I'm going to show you how to work it out in a second. You have to work out how many pips you want to secure, how many pips you want to lock in. Okay. So if you've already changed your entry to change your stop loss to entry to ride the trade risk free, and it's gone up another 20 pips, okay, then you would go back to your stop loss and add. So here's stop loss. I would add 20 pips to that, and then I can then ride that in profit. I'm now in profit. Okay. Now on a PC, that looks a bit easier because all I would be doing is grabbing this line and putting it all the way up here, you know, not too close to where the market price is. The market price is where that little white box is, where my cursor is. That's where the entry price is, that little yellow line here. Okay. So I would put this halfway maybe. I need to give the trade room to breathe. Okay. So we always say, you know, once you're riding the trade risk free, if it goes up another 20 pips, then you can maybe, you know, go up a little bit more, you know, go up by 20 pips. Okay. So on a PC, it's just a case of grabbing the line. That's all you have to do. So back to the presentation. Okay. So just to reiterate, on a mobile, you'd have to work out the pips. I'm going to show you how to work out the pips. Understanding pips. Let's have a look at this. Okay. USD CAD. USD CAD. This price reads 1.34434. Now the last digit is usually a pipette. What does that mean? It means after the decimal point for a normal trade. And when I talk about a normal currency trade, I'm talking about, you know, currency pairs that are not JPY. They don't have JPY. Okay. So any currency pairings that does not have JPY, they should have 4 numbers after the decimal point. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th number is a pipette, and you can just ignore that pipette. Okay, 10 pipettes equal 1 pip. So now it's easy for me to work out a 20 pip movement. So if I'm wanting to lock in some profits on my mobile and my stop loss is already at 1.3443, I can then add 20 pips to my stop loss to lock in 20 pips. I can lock it in so that I'm riding the trade in profit. So how would I do that? I'd ignore the pipette. I've made the pipette green. It won't be green when you look at it, but just know that it should only be 4. There should only be 4 numbers after the decimal point. So 3443. If I add 20 pips to this, it now becomes 3463. Okay, I've added 20 pips. I can use the numbers after the decimal point. I can just look at this like a regular number. 3443 add 20 is now 3, 4, 6, 3. That's a 20 pip movement. However, if your currency pair has JPY in it, JPY is the only currency pair that has only 2 digits after the decimal point. The third digit is the pipette. So we can ignore the pipette. I've made it green again. So, you know, 0.51, if I want to add 20 pips, that now becomes 0.71. I'm ignoring the third digit, which is the pipette. I'm just going to ignore it. So that's a 20 pip movement. I hope that makes sense. Now, gold, which we all know and love, is slightly different again. Okay, so here we have 1280.50. Okay, now 1280.60 represents a 1 pip movement. That's a 1 pip movement. So this number after the decimal point, if it goes up by 1, that's a 1 pip movement. So have a look at a 20 pip movement here. 1280.50. Now to increase it by 20 pips, it's 1282.50. So when the number before the decimal place goes up by 1, that represents a 10 pip movement. So because here it's gone up by 2, from 1280 to 1282, that's a 20 pip movement. Just replay this last segment if you need to go over understanding pips. So closing with partial profits. You can also close with partial profits. This is how you do that. So going back to your mobile phone, okay, you can close, you can click on close. So tap on, when you tap on the trade, you have those options, click on close, then you're presented with this screen. Now look what I've circled, the lot size. Here I've got a lot size of 0.1, which is £1 per pip. It says at the bottom, if I close it now, I'm going to close with a profit of £9.39. However, if I change the lot size at the top to 0.05, as you can see here, if I change it, it means that I can close with partial profit. Now you can change or reduce your lot size by whatever you want, and it will work out the profit accordingly. So because I've halved my lot size, now I'm closing with half the profit. So I can secure half of the profit and continue to trade with half of the lot size. I hope that makes sense. So that's how you close with partial profit. Now I want to finish off with this. How long after the trade has been called can I enter? There is no defining answer for that. If it's a pending order, you normally have more time because the order is pending, but that order could activate quite quickly. If it's a market execution, you know, then technically speaking, you have to enter it straight away, but you may not see it straight away. So sometimes you do have some time to get into that trade, and that's because the market is either hovering around market entry, or maybe it's gone, you know, it's gone the other way and it's come back to market entry. So there's no perfect answer. That's the honest truth. But what you can do is, if you want to have, you know, a rough time, I would say if there's been about 20 minutes after a market entry or a market execution trade has been called, if there's been about 20 minutes, then if you're a complete novice and you're new to trading, I would just walk away. If it's been about 20 minutes to half an hour max, just walk away from it. There will be other trades, don't worry. But if you're a bit more confident, then you can look to see if this is still a good trade in about 1 minute. So imagine a market execution trade has been called, okay? I would look on the mobile, I would open that currency pair, I would tap the symbol, and then I would click on chart, and then you'd have a screen like what you can see on your screen now. Now look at this. If that, normally what we try to do with a market execution trade is to tell you roughly what the current market price was when the trade was called. So imagine, okay, that the current market price when it was called was at 1282. Okay, imagine it was at 1282. Okay, I could then look to see where is price now. Okay, where is price now? So just imagine now, just imagine where my cursor is, where it says 1284, 0.97. Imagine price is there now. Okay, so I would use this. Look at where the black circle is. That's called a crosshair. If you click on the crosshair, you can measure. Click on the crosshair and then tap on where the trade was called and drag it to where price is now. If price has moved away from where it was called by quite some distance, you know, if it's moved away by quite a few pips, then it's best to just walk away. If it's moved away by more than, I'd say, about, you know, 5 pips, 5, maybe 10 pips, then just walk away. You know, it's up to you. You can trade it how you want. But, you know, if you're new to this, they're the rough guidelines I would give you. But it may well be that when you look at the trade, you look at the price it was called at, it may well be that the current market price is roughly around the price it was called at. If that's the case, then the market execution trade is still good to get into. And you could also use this same technique with a pending order. Here I've got a pending order, you know, there's a buyer pending order that I've placed here, okay? I can look to see whether that's still good. Has it activated yet? Get used to using the crosshair to look to see where the pending order is and where the current market price is. And then you can see, depending on whether it's a buy or a sell, if price is there yet. Has it reached there yet? Okay. Okay, guys, I hope that's been of some value. And I hope that helps you to secure profit and to secure the bag. Guys, take care and good luck with securing those profits.